Burger dogs. Take your game day tailgate or whatever you want this fall to the next level with the OG, the barbecue, and the bacon cheeseburger. That's next here on What's for Dinner, Dad. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is take 300 milliliters of warm whole milk, about 95 degrees, and combine that with a tablespoon of dry active or instant yeast. You're going to mix that, stir it up to combine just so, leave it sitting for 10 minutes until it becomes frothy. Then, in the bowl of a stand mixer, you're going to combine 600 grams of bread flour with 2 teaspoons of salt and 1 tablespoon of sugar. Whisk that all together to combine. Attach your bowl back to your stand mixer, and then use the dough hook. Once your milk is frothy, you'll start your hook on low speed and carefully and slowly add the milk mixture into your flour. Let that incorporate together. Scrape down the sides as needed throughout the entire process of making this dough. Then you're going to add separately the egg yolk and the whole egg, again allowing the dough to come together. When it's roughly together like this, stop the mixer and spread 1 tablespoon of soft butter onto the dough, like that. From there, restart the mixer on nothing faster than medium speed and allow the butter to incorporate, then repeat that step twice more. Once your dough starts to form a very smooth outside skin, like you can see here, that's when you know it's time. It should be about 3 to 5 more minutes after that last tablespoon of butter. Once you've got your smooth dough all combined, carefully tip it out onto a floured work surface, and you're going to shape it into a ball. Easy way to do that, you just move your hands around in a circle and continuously tuck the dough underneath onto itself until the skin on top becomes very tight. It should take about 2 minutes. And once you've got a nice plump ball, like this, you're going to oil a large bowl, place your dough inside, and then cover it and let it rise for about an hour until it's doubled in size. And now it's time to make your pickling liquid. You'll combine 1½ cups of distilled white vinegar with 3/4 of a cup of water and a tablespoon each of sugar and salt. Allow that to come to a boil, and while that happens, slice a few cucumbers into lengthwise slices like this and put them into a large mason jar. Once your pickling liquid has boiled, carefully pour it into the jar over the cucumbers, and then put in your sprigs of dill and oregano and seal your mason jar. You're going to allow this mixture to cool completely to room temperature, and once that's done, you've got pickles. Now it's time for the burger dogs. I've got 4 4-ounce patties of ground beef, 85% lean. I find that this helps them hold their shape just a little bit better. You could also use ground turkey. So I've seasoned them generously with salt, and now I'm going to shape them into roughly 6-inch logs, sort of like a hot dog, just without the casing. And I've got 4 square-shaped pieces of plastic wrap that I'm putting each of these burger dogs onto. And once I've shaped them, you see I've got my ruler reminder there. Once I've shaped them into the log, I'm going to carefully wrap them in this plastic wrap. So I'll turn it over, keep it nice and tight, and rolled up. Then I pinch the sides and push down on it as I roll it back across my counter. It's going to become nice and tight, and this sort of acts like a casing that allows the dog to take its new shape. Here we'll do it again. Rolled up nice and tight, pinch the sides, and roll it back toward you a couple of times until the wrapping is nice and tight. Take your 4 burger dogs and put them in the fridge for about an hour. My dough has risen. It's doubled in size, so I'm going to degas it by tapping it, popping that bubble, getting the whole thing flattened out. Carefully turn it out onto a floured work surface. Flatten it out some more until there's no more air left in it. Be very gentle as you do this. And then I'm going to divide it into 13 individual pieces. Start by dividing it into fourths, and then I like to weigh them. They will weigh somewhere between 80 and 85 grams. You could also do this by eyeball. It's really not that big of a deal. You just want them to be roughly the same size. So then to shape them, press them down. Any extra pieces you have to get them up to weight, just press them all together, and then fold the corners in upon itself and fold the sides in as well. And then turn it over, and keeping your hand in constant contact with your work surface, roll it around until you've formed a ball. You're going to place that ball on a piece of parchment paper that is on a baking sheet and cover that with a damp towel for about 10 minutes. Once you've let your dough balls rest, it's time to form them into hot dog buns. So all you do is just start rolling. From the ball shape, you just roll it into this log torpedo pre-bun shape. Make sure the sides don't get too pointy. That's not quite the shape we're going for. And you want this to again be roughly 6 inches long. Place it back on the same parchment paper lined baking tray, and you want to have your buns here be pretty close together so that when they rise and bake, they join together and you have the really cool hot dog bun pull apart. I'll cover these with another baking sheet and let them rise for about 45 minutes, then bake them in a 375-degree oven for about 15 minutes. You want to turn them halfway in between. Before you put them in the oven, combine an egg with some water and brush them for an egg wash to get a nice shiny finish. At this point, I'll preheat my oven to 375 degrees and put 6 slices of thick-cut bacon in to come up to temperature while the oven preheats. Additionally, I'll make some coleslaw. I'll take half a red onion, slice it very thinly, and then place it into a bowl of water for 15 to 20 minutes so that it can soak and take some of the edge and bite off of the raw onion. Then I'll grate 2 carrots into a large bowl very carefully. We would like to have just grated carrots and not grated fingers. Then I'll take half a head of green cabbage and thinly slice it just like my onions. And combine that with the carrots. Break that up as needed. Then I'll take my soaked onions and add them on top to the carrots and cabbage and combine those together a bit before I season them. To season, I'll use celery salt, apple cider vinegar, just a little bit of sour cream to bind everything together, and some black pepper. All the recipes are in the description so you can see the amounts, and you can adjust this if you like a creamier coleslaw. I'll mix that all around and toss it, and then set it aside. To make some sauteed onions, I'm going to cut a small onion in half, and then julienne it, which means cut it into strips along the rib lines of the onion. Cut the back off, and then warm some olive oil and butter in a small pan before I add my onions. Do your best to break the onions apart so that each piece gets a nice bit of color. Generously season with salt. My hot dog buns are done. They've got that nice sheen from the egg wash. I'm going to cool them on a rack for about half an hour. My sauteed onions are also done. You see they've got some nice color, so I'm going to turn the heat off and take these off the pan. Now it's time to cook the burger dogs. I've unwrapped them from the plastic wrap, and I'm going to heat some canola oil in a cast iron skillet and carefully lay each burger dog into the pan. The idea here is that we're going to season this on 4 sides. So we'll cook each side for about 3 minutes and then rotate a quarter of the way, which you'll see here in just a second. So now we can start to pull apart our hot dog buns. First, take a look. Again, that beautiful shine from the egg wash, We know that it's baked all the way through because it's got a nice firm bottom. And here you can see we pull them apart just like those hot dog buns you've always had growing up. Beautiful. This is so satisfying. Pulled apart just like that. One more time. Time to rotate our burger dogs. As I said, we're going to sear these on 4 sides. So just carefully roll them on their side 90 degrees. You can see we're getting some good color on these. And we'll repeat that step 3 more times. Feel free to adjust the heat if it's starting to get a little too hot on those burger dogs. Now time to slice these open. Very carefully. Pull them open, still leaving just a little bit on the bottom. Look at that. I'm going to take 1 piece of cheese for the bacon cheeseburger burger dogs that I'm making. And I'm going to lay that right on top on my last rotation of the burger dogs to sear and let that melt. In the meantime, I've got mustard, ketchup, my sauteed onions, and my pickles. You can see they've changed color. So I'm going to lay in some sauteed onions, and then I'm going to lay a pickle on. Then I'm going to take my burger dog, lay it right in there. Let's make sure it's down in the bun, and top it with ketchup and mustard. And this is my OG burger dog. Now for the barbecue. Small layer of coleslaw at the bottom, and then another pickle. Lay in your burger dog. Again, just kind of press it down so it stays in the bun. Then another layer of coleslaw on top of that. And finally, your favorite barbecue sauce. This is from a local place near where I live. Have to admit, this is definitely the messiest one. Finally, our bacon cheeseburger. We're going to start with burger sauce. Burger sauce is basically all your burger condiments. Mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard, relish, a little bit of vinegar and sugar mixed together. Recipes in the description. Then we're going to take one of our strips of bacon, our cheese-covered burger dog, and then top it with some more of your burger sauce. And there you have it. 3 burger dogs, the OG, the barbecue, and the bacon cheeseburger. Enjoy.